Avi Meyers, Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Set us up on the web at www.ntnm.org, where you'll find all of our shows and the links to them on YouTube. Jewish Chicago right now, if you're watching this on TV, is already out on the streets. Sorry. If you're watching this on the web shortly after it came out, you still have a chance to participate, but you're going to have to hurry up. The whole thing's going to be available free at aviworld.com. It's going to be available free throughout Chicagoland for the start of early voting. And any place you can find corned beef, lox, bagels, whatever. You'll be able to find Jewish Chicago in theory. Can't hit everywhere, but I'm going to come close. So in any event, it is a pleasure to introduce you to a leading candidate in the leading race in Cook County right now. The state's attorney's race, as I know all of you are aware, has heated everybody up beyond belief. It is a pleasure to reintroduce you to Donna More. How are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for having me. You made me hungry with all your talk of corned beef and bagels.
Okay, well, you can have some afterwards. I've got some wraps from a kosher event if you want. But in any event, this is your first time running for office.
My first time running for office, yes.
How you been finding it?
It's an education, and I'm running because I actually want to do this job. I'm not running for a job, and because of that, I keep learning about the political system every day, which in Cook County, as you can imagine, is quite interesting.
Interesting is a very nice way to put it. Before I forget, I do want to thank John Davis, Brandy Graff, and your campaign manager, Jorge Ramirez. Brandy's not actually here, but I want to thank all of them, and really good people to deal with.
Yes, I have a great team.
So, no, there's no question about it for sure. Some of us have referred to it as Crook County. And, in the 70s when I used to cover criminal court for one of the local newspapers, we used to refer to the number of honest judges at the time as being the same as on the hand of Three-Finger Mordecai Brown. So while things have improved some, they haven't exactly improved through 100% throughout the system.
That's very true. There's a lot of political self-interest coming before the public needs, and that's what I've been finding. I am not the choice of the political power brokers, and in fact, when I sort of did my 2016 kickoff, one of the things I said was, as not only a former state but former federal prosecutor, I wanted to go after public corruption. And within about 24 hours, Tony Preckwinkle and Joe Barrios called a second slating meeting for our race because, as you're aware, in August, they took a no endorsement in our race. But after I came out saying I was going to go after public corruption, they did a second slating where they obviously weren't going to endorse Anita. They were afraid to endorse me, so Tony's candidate, Kim, got the endorsement. And
well, they're not interested in independence. I mean,
No.
You would be independent if you got the job and you would try to do a good job.
That's correct.
Basically, periwinkle, or by the way, do you know what a periwinkle actually is?
I know it's a pretty blue color.
Well, actually, that's not the same way. Well, that's one periwinkle. There's actually two of them.
Okay.
I love watching cooking shows.
Okay.
Okay. And it's so interesting when you have like a really great chef. I think this was Jacques Pepin, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
And what he likes to do sometimes is take the lowest, most slovenly ingredient and make it luxurious. He said the lowest snail or shellfish on the chain is the periwinkle.
Interesting. Okay.
So
Not being a cook, I did not know that. Okay.
He actually made it in a luxurious lobster bisque, not kosher, sorry guys. Neither is a snail. He had fresh saffron, the most expensive spice you can possibly find in it. Actually shaved fresh truffles into it. Oh. He probably put $100 of ingredients into. But you know what? Once a snail's still a snail, no matter what. No thanks. Anyway, no. You know what? she's looking for a toady.
Yeah.
You know, Kim, whatever her name is, who, by the way, I've invited her to the show every bit as much as I've invited you and your other opponent. I've invited everybody the same amount of times to come on the same amount. You took advantage of me the most, so I take that as a really good sign. And I got to thank John for that also. He's really good about these things too. I'm in direct contact with her, and all I can tell you is she won't come on the show because she's got what to hide. Like, she's got no ability to do the job except taking orders from Periwinkle.
It's very interesting because to me, the state's attorney's office, the top prosecutor job, is all about truth. It's all about facts. It's all about integrity. And my one opponent has misrepresented her credentials, is under investigation by the State Board of Elections for an illegal campaign contribution, and the Sun-Times from Preckwinkle, and the Sun-Times has reported that she was involved in a pay-to-play scheme whereby right before Kim Foxx left county government, she gave out a $10 million contract in return for a campaign contribution. So my one opponent on day one has ethical issues that need to get investigated, and my other opponent doesn't see facts, or she's never seen facts that she doesn't want to cover up. So to me, this race is really important because neither of my opponents have shown the leadership, the judgment, and in Ms. Fox's case, the experience to be an independent prosecutor who will prosecute crime no matter who commits it.
But she didn't prosecute children.
She, that's a situation where we've appeared before the editorial boards, and Ms. Foxx and Ms. Alvarez can hammer that out because Ms. Alvarez's office has put out a 5 or 6 page response to Freedom of Information requests that detail Ms. Fox's record in the office, and Ms. Foxx is disputing that. So, I'll let the two of them resolve it.
Yeah, no, there was a nice picture of you in the Trib, by the way.
Thank you, thank you. It was an interesting week last week with all three of us being present.
You were all there at the same time?
We were all there at the same time. Oftentimes, Ms. Alvarez doesn't show up for candidate forums and candidate debates, if you will. So she did come to the Tribune and the Sun-Times, so we were actually all three together.
Oh, very good. Yeah, I'm glad. Does Fox usually show up at these things?
Fox and I are usually there together, yes.
Interesting, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fox fan. Well, actually, I do like the X-Files on Channel 32, but that's another story. So, okay, the other issues in the campaign. How many state's attorneys are there right now in the office?
Right now, there are about 900 assistants, and that's been pretty standard. So we're the largest state's attorney's office except for Los Angeles, and that's why to have walked in their shoes, to have been a felony trial assistant is important because they need to understand that the state's attorney gets what they do every day and makes tough decisions. One of my opponents, Ms. Foxx, has never really had to make tough decisions. She always had supervisors above her in the office, in the state's attorney's office, and obviously when she worked in the county, it was Ms. Preckwinkle that was making decisions. Ms. Foxx was a messenger.
Yeah, now you have your own law firm right now.
I'm managing partner of a national law firm. I'm managing partner of the Chicago office, and I sit on the executive management committee nationwide. So we have about 650 lawyers.
That's big time stuff.
It's a big national office, and it gives you some good managerial skills, and it also helps you inspire the lawyers who work for you, which is part of what you have to do in the public sector as well.
No, the truth is, in almost anything you do, if I've got people working for me, I want them to have a good attitude. I want them to feel good about what they're doing because they're going to do a better job that way.
That's exactly right.
You know, they're going to make their clients happy. They're going to make me happy. They'll make me more money. It just doesn't, well, whatever.
Well, in the public sector, you can't compensate with money. It's not like they get a year-end bonus. But I think what has to happen in the state's attorney's office is your assistants have to feel that they have discretion to do what they think has to happen in their courtrooms. They have to feel that doing the right thing is good and gets rewarded. And they need to know that the state's attorney will have their back. Now, if you make a mistake, you have to learn to correct it. You make more than one, you have to deal with it. But right now, I think that many of the assistants in Anita Alvarez's office feel as if they get in trouble for doing the right thing.
Interesting. Yeah, that I couldn't tell you. That I don't know the definite details of. But the fact is, you know, I do know that in other offices that I'm willing to talk about that aren't necessarily on the ballot, some have more esprit de corps than others. So, you know, it definitely tells from that standpoint. So going forward, we've got, as we film today, we've got, what, about a month?
A little over
a month.
Yes.
Okay, and what direction do you go from here?
Well, today, as you know, I'm the only candidate that has actually put forth policies. I think last time I was on the show, I talked to you about my gun violence policy.
Right.
I've put out there how we should deal with police shootings. And today, earlier, I actually rolled out a mental health policy. And, you know, our system of criminal justice has so many people that have mental illness, and we are not helping them by just putting them in Cook County Jail awaiting a bond hearing or awaiting trial. And it costs the taxpayers a lot of money, and we don't get good results. So what I outlined today with the help of mental health care professionals that I've been talking to is I would like to do intervention at point of arrest instead of waiting for somebody at a bail hearing or even later. So it costs us, as we know, $147 a day to house people at county jail. If at point of arrest, we can have a nurse practitioner do a mini mental health exam, and if a person is determined to have mental health issues and or addiction issues, and it's a low-level, nonviolent offense, I would like to see that person transported to an approved, licensed mental health care facility and then go back and forth to court from there, where they'll be on their meds, they'll get treatment, and eventually, whatever happens with their case, we're putting somebody who is better able to deal in society back out on the street. And the mental health care facilities are about $110 a day. So we have a float of between 110 and 147.
$37 a day,
whereby
$259 a week.
Right, whereby I think that gives us the ability to hire some nurse practitioners to actually do this in the county. And I think we get a lot better results and a lot better outcomes for the money we're spending.
It sounds good. I like the plan. You know, you're pretty good at these plans. I got to give you credit. In the meantime, we are almost out of time, though.
Okay.
So I know you have a website.
I do. www.voteformore, voteformore.com.
I want to thank you very much, Donna More, candidate in the Democratic primary for Secretary of State.
Please, Cook County State's Attorney.
Cook County State's Attorney. Doing good today. Please give her full consideration. She's a good person. And, you know, vote early, vote often. Come election day, if you haven't, you know, you can vote early regardless, legally. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.